Hi world. So I'm Sarah and I've decided to document 40 days of Joe Dispenza meditation. I am trained in meditation. I'm a yoga instructor and I have worked with clients for the past over a decade. And yet I have often struggled with my own practice, with maintaining my practice of meditation and yoga. And I know a lot of yoga instructors, yoga therapists, meditation teachers who also struggle with this. So I wanted to be really transparent on these videos, and I'm going to take you through each day of these 40 days. Yesterday was day one. It was nighttime, so I'm recording the next day, the next morning. But I just want to share with you guys my insights. And I'd love to also hear your experience with meditation, what kind of meditation, and how meditation has affected your life positively, and how it has changed you, and in what ways it has changed you. And I'll be sharing the same. So for those of you that have been following me for a while, you'll know that I've been on a journey like you. And for those who are new, you're likely on a spiritual journey, and that's probably why you were guided to my channel. And I've known about Joe Dispenza for many years. I have a friend who has attended 2 of his workshops and has encouraged me to attend, and I'm hoping to be able to attend within the next year or 2. And I very much understand the mind-body connection. I became a yoga instructor in 2011, and I studied meditation in 2017 after I had been through a relationship with a mentally and emotionally abusive partner. And meditation combined with yoga, like, to me, there's no sweeter duo. But consistency, as with anything, is key. So when you're in a fight or flight response, if you've been through trauma like I have, and like many of you have, maybe all of you watching have, your body gets stuck in this fight or flight response, and your parasympathetic nervous system isn't quite sure how to turn on anymore. So what used to be easy to me, and what used to come easy to me in the past, like sticking to a consistent workout schedule, eating the healthy foods, right? Whatever healthy, however you define healthy. I'm not here to tell you what healthy is for you, but for me, it's plant-based. And for me, it is no gluten because I have a wheat allergy. And so I cheat, right? And when I cheat, I'm not being kind to my body. I'm not being honest with myself. Or I'll eat a little dairy here and there, and I know that my body doesn't tolerate that very well either. So I'm not a strict plant-based eater. I actually eat fish from time to time when my body calls for it. And I'm a big proponent of eat what feels good for your body. So I have had a really hard time since 2017, actually, since I went through a cross-country move 6 weeks after I had moved away from my home state and my friends and family, and I had, said goodbye to the business I had been developing for, at that point, 5 years, and went on this journey that I thought was going to end up in marriage. And I was going to be, I hate the word stepmom, but I was going to be a mom to his 2 kids, stepmom. They have a great mother. And that just blew up in my face. And I turned to food. Now, you might look at me and say, well, she doesn't look overweight. And it's not about the number. It's not about being overweight. It's about how you feel in your body. And so I haven't felt comfortable in my body since 2017. So I started eating crappy foods, some fast food here and there, which I don't eat. And I might have done it like once a year, but I was a very clean eater up to this point. Trust me, you can be a junk food eater on plant-based foods. It's like vegans aren't necessarily healthy. All right, I'll be the first one to say that. I've been a very unhealthy vegan at times. And frankly, for the last 7 years, I haven't been the healthiest. And I know how to take care of myself, and I coach others on how to take care of themselves, and yet I've been struggling. So then you go through this imposter syndrome that I think I was in a group a couple years back, and every single person, very successful people in this group, making millions of dollars a year, they said, yeah, I have experienced that. I've experienced imposter syndrome. It's so normal. And in fact, it would be abnormal if you weren't experiencing it from time to time. But when you're coaching others, and it's so easy for you to help others shift and help guide others on their journeys and what will be good for their body, mind, and soul. And you know that you're not following your own instincts and your own intuition and your own knowledge or guidance, you start to feel shame. So then you have shame coupled in that mix. You've got shame, right, coupled with like almost like disobedience to self. That's almost what it feels like. It's like the rebel, like the inner rebel character that's like, no, I won't do this. I'm going to do something else. And even though I know that I want to change, it has felt nearly impossible to do so. So in my turning to meditation, I am hoping to break free from some of these patterns and habits that I've established over the past 7 years, almost 7 years, and to finally free myself. And in doing so, again, it's not about the number on the scale, it's about how you feel in your body. Because at this point, I don't recognize my body. You know, I went from being a competitive gymnast, I played soccer, I ran cross country, I was a frequenter at the gym, and then I was doing yoga 6 times a week, or running, or doing something, lifting weights. And due to what I've been through and my nervous system, you know, I want to say dysfunctioning, being in that fight or flight, that sympathetic nervous system on such high alert, finding it so hard to fall into the parasympathetic nervous system of regular sleeping schedule, right? So when you're in fight or flight, you can encounter insomnia, you can encounter late night eating, you can encounter just your circadian rhythm being off, which upsets your entire system because your body heals when it sleeps, your systems and your organs heal. Mental fog, fogginess, exhaustion, sheer exhaustion. So the truth is I've been fighting for my life in many ways. And I just decided to come on here and make a very transparent and vulnerable video where I talk to you guys about my true and real experiences with my own healing journey. It's far from perfect, and I am far from perfect. And I know that this is leading me somewhere, and I also know that it's time to do something different. You know, it's time to do something different because the way that I was doing things isn't working anymore. So there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a different way to do things that will yield different results. So I'm excited for this adventure, this opportunity. I've got a accountability buddy, my friend who's done the 2 workshops. She's a follower. I actually met her on this channel and we became fast friends. So Sally, thank you so much for your support. Like, thank you doesn't even cut it. Thank you for understanding me, for seeing me, for hearing me, for being there when things have been extra hard. And I so appreciate you. And I so appreciate each and every one of you who's watching this video. And I will respond to all of the comments that I'm able to, hopefully all of them. And I hope that you feel safe and free to share your experience as well. So in studying or in moving through these meditations, studying meditation also, I'm going to point out several things over these 40 days that I know from my training and also from my personal experience being a meditator. You can't do meditation wrong. So because my mind has been so full lately with all these shifts and changes in my physical reality that many of you are also going through, what I experienced in the past week or so, I count yesterday as day 1, but I've been meditating for about 2 weeks here, but I missed a day here and there. So we're gonna do 40 days straight starting yesterday, which is December 8th. This is December 9th, I think. Yeah, December 9th, okay. And your mind will go. Your mind will just crank and go and tell you thoughts, and it will take you back, you know, in your childhood. It'll take you in the future. It'll scare you. It'll talk to you about death. It'll talk to you about heartache. Remember when so-and-so broke your heart. Remember when you failed. It'll talk to you about all of these things because it's trying to deter you from doing what you need to do to move out of this pattern. It doesn't want you to move out of the pattern. So some people say the mind is your friend. I have a hard time with that. Some people say the mind is your enemy. I have a hard time with that, right? Because our mind is here for the duration of this adventure that we call life. The mind is with us. Otherwise, we'd be dead because we have to have an ego. It helps us to survive, you know, situations, traumatic situations and other situations. It helps us get us out of scary situations. However, we've taken it too far in our modern society. We're not getting chased by saber-toothed tigers. I know this is like an worn out concept. Everyone talks, oh, saber-toothed tigers, but we're not getting chased by lions and bears unless you're going after them, which I don't recommend. And we are, yet these stressors of modern day society cannot be discounted. We encounter them every single day. So how are you helping your nervous system to cope with everyday stressors? Every day, whatever that might be. Even noises, as you ascend, as you become more attuned, more aligned, as you become more aware of this world, even noises will start to feel like they're too much, right? Or conversations, conversations about everyday stuff, or you're going to start to feel the weight of certain things more and more because you're more aware. As you ascend to a higher level of consciousness, suddenly the things that matter don't really matter anymore, but you have new things that matter. And we're in that adjustment stage where we're adjusting to this new consciousness, and we keep on shifting layers. And I call it climbing the rungs of the ladder, which is appropriate because I have a bookshelf ladder back there, but it's like climbing the rungs of the ladder. And you can't ever really go back. Once you graduate, you're there, you're at the next level. But what can happen is you can get stuck or feel like you're stuck, like you're just treading water or you're stuck in quicksand. And that's really what this last quarter of 2022 has felt like with these eclipses that were in Scorpio and Taurus. I talk about this, a lot. I've talked about it on videos here and on my astrology channel. I'll be talking more about the eclipses. We'll have Aries and Libra eclipses next year, so those will be interesting. Very different shift from Scorpio and Taurus. And depending on where these sat in your chart, they would have affected you, brought an ending in some way to something, a relationship, a job, a part of your personality or identity. That's what I'm going through, by the way, which is, many of you are here to witness that. And it has been one of the most difficult things that I have gone through professionally and personally behind the scenes. And so for some of you, it could be with siblings or family. There's just so many ways in which, this really, really heavy eclipse season may have affected you. And this Gemini full moon was also a doozy this week, guys. So very much looking forward to the cleansing energy of the Capricorn new moon on the 23rd of December, as well as our winter equinox, ushering in a brand new season of change. And also, even though it's a season of darkness, it's a season of change, so it's good. It'll flush some things out, some old energy out. And we also have Jupiter moving into Aries on the 20th. So I'll talk a lot more about all of those things over on the other channel. But back to feeling like you're doing meditation wrong. It's easy to perceive that I'm not doing it right. I'm doing it wrong. But the fact is, there is no right way to meditate. There is no wrong way to meditate. So my uncle has studied yoga, ancient, philosophies of yoga for many years. And he says, Sarah, you're actually, unless you're living on a mountain, and you're not exposed to society, you're not meditating per se, you're relaxing. We call it meditation. He calls it relaxing. You're relaxing. Okay. You're learning to sit with your thoughts and your mind in the busyness. They call it, in my yoga training, they call it the monkey mind. You're learning to sit with those thoughts. And you're learning to just let them be without judging them or without trying to get them to stop. The thing is you can't stop your thoughts. They're going to continue. The thoughts will continue rolling. The thoughts will be there. We just have to learn to get comfortable with them and kind of gently shift them and move them out of the way so we can see more clearly what the soul is guiding us towards. Now, these meditations, save for one, over the past 2 weeks or a week and a half or so, have been really challenging for me. So last night I sat there, it was a 40-minute meditation. The first probably 15 minutes, my mind just went off. I mean, it would not shut up. And then I got frustrated with myself, I got frustrated with my mind, and I wanted it to change. And the thing that shifts that situation or that circumstance is just accepting it and surrendering, and then it changes on its own. And sort of, a metaphor for life, right? We want something to shift. We want our situation to shift or our relationship to shift. And we just surrender to what is, and then it will naturally shift. It will naturally find a progression. So that's what happened. And then about minute, 16, I don't know exactly, I started to feel relaxed. I could feel the stress because I had back tension, neck tension, head tension, and everything just started to shift. The tension started to melt. And you realize that what's out there isn't as important as what's in here. Everything is a projection of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what we've experienced, what we've been exposed to, any traumas that have occurred. And so when we sit with ourselves in relaxation or meditation, we are giving ourselves an opportunity to slow down, to focus on the breath, to encourage the nervous system via the vehicle of the breath, typically, to switch from that sympathetic nervous system where everything is a stressor, where we are on high alert, where you cannot relax, you're not sleeping well, you can't eat well, you can't digest well, because there's no room for that in your body when you're stressed. It's just trying to help you survive. And you'll feel that shift where you feels like bliss, where you, even if it's just for a moment. Some meditations you might just feel a moment of bliss and you go back to the chatter of the mind. Some meditations you might feel blissful the whole time. Depends on what time of day you're doing the meditation. Some people are morning meditators, some people are evening meditators. I find morning is easier because by nighttime, all my thoughts, it's like everything is there from all the years I've been alive. But then I think, yeah, but if I empty this container out, these thoughts out during meditation, so to speak, then I'm not going to bed with all of these thoughts. So then I'm sleeping better. And I had crazy vivid dreams last night for the first time that I can remember in several weeks. So pay attention to your dreams right now, by the way. It's another message, but that'll be for another video. So this is meditation video. So my experience with meditation is that when there was one point when I was meditating regularly for about 3 months or so, I don't remember exactly, and I wasn't as reactive. I wasn't reacting to particularly road rage. I wasn't reactive to the cars that were cutting me off. I wasn't like as apt to flick the person off or curse in my car, because I have road rage. And I instead was able to sit back like every single time and just observe. And even observe the tiniest desire to flick that person off or to say something or roll, just like be aggressive. And I just noticed that and observed that. And instead, I just let it be. I was like, oh, that person's probably having just a shitty morning or whatever. Or they do this all the time. Honking at them isn't going to change anything. It just drives me into a stress response. And I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to incite a stress response. So I found myself much more mellow, much more at peace. I found myself reacting less, not only in situations, but in conversations with particularly family members or friends when I felt triggered. I really wasn't as triggered. And if I was, I could easily walk myself or talk myself through it. There's so many benefits to meditation, including benefits of the body, physical body. But when you're first starting out, like let's say you're watching, you've never meditated, and maybe you look at it and you're like, it just feels like a mountain. I don't think I can climb that mountain. I would invite you to try guided meditation where someone's walking you through it. Silent meditation is tough to do right off the bat. It's so much more helpful to have music or guided meditation where someone's walking you through it, where you don't have to go like, what am I supposed to do next? Your mind will still wander. And you'll come back and you're like, wait, where have I been for 10 minutes? What are they saying? You might open your eyes. Sometimes I find myself, I'm so antsy to get it done with, to go do the next thing, which is what? Watch TV, scroll Instagram. What is it? But the mind's like, no, you should be doing something, more fruitful. Oh yeah, because scrolling Instagram is so fruitful, brain, But that, again, the nature of the mind is to try to distract us from our work, because then it will no longer be needed. If we heal, right, then the ego is like, I'm not going to be needed. I'm going to die. let the ego die. And watch, the ego will put up a fight, guys. Watch the ego in meditation. It will fight. It does not want to die. It will cling, it will scream, it will kick. And you get to be the observer. If you have any questions, guys, anything that I've addressed in this video, let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer. And I would love to hear your experiences, how long you've been meditating, what kind of meditation. So my training is in Vedic meditation, which is really pretty spectacular. And my yoga training, again, was back in 2011, but I had been a student since 2008, 2007, 2008 is when I took my first yoga class, and I was addicted. I was doing the Bikram classes and I was addicted. You know, I was doing 1 or 2 a day, and then Bikram became too masculine. And then so over the years, my style has shifted to more of a yin style. And I've considered also sharing those videos with you guys, but I just don't have the proper, I have the space for it. I just would need to get a tripod and proper setup. But I have considered that, because that's been calling to me again, is to not only get back into my own yoga practice and meditation practice, but to share that with you, because I have several ideas for yoga flows and yoga videos. Some would be, some would be short, some would be longer, some would be just very restorative and yin style, which is more of the feminine side, just learning to surrender and relax the muscles. And others would be more energetic, like a more masculine style flow. But all in good timing, right? So right now I'm focused on these 40 days. This is day 2. So tomorrow I will share a day 2, and we'll just talk about what comes up. And I can't wait. Like, my mind was trying to figure out, well, what's going to come up? And then I realized, oh, you're not supposed to know what's going to come up. You're just supposed to appreciate whatever happens. Just sit back and be comfortable. So take good care, guys. I'll see you in day 2. And I'll also be doing readings on here. I just wanted to share these videos because I think that they're going to be very helpful for some people out there who are struggling, and just to share more bits and pieces of my personal journey and what it's looked like from the inside out, and that I've been struggling as well. And this is a journey that never really ends, in my opinion. This is a journey that we continue walking on, that we continue until we die. It's like you hear people's last words and they're like, what a ride that was. And you're like, oh. And then I think we realize too late that we're supposed to be playing. But the mind's like, well, how do I play when I have bills to pay? How do I just play through life when, I have to try to navigate relationships with other people and other humans? How do I play when, there's, being an adult is hard, and we have responsibilities, or we have children to raise? And I think that's what we're all trying to figure out. Because we know that the core of us knows that love is all there truly is. And the core of us knows this. The core of us knows relationships and connections are really where it's at. But we spend so much of our time distracted. And now with the advent of social media, the rise of social media, and TikTok in particular, because it's just, I watch my nephew scroll through it, and it's like, scroll, more than Instagram, although now Instagram has Reels, so it's becoming similar. And then your brain, it's doing damage to children's brains and our brains, because we can't keep up with all those micropixels or whatever they're called. And the brain's just trying to, so then when you go to try to focus on something, your brain's like, no, I want 500 things at once, because that's what we're giving it all the time. So it's so important to just find time to sit with yourself. Maybe it's just taking a walk in nature for you. Maybe you become meditative when you're doing dishes and you play some relaxing music. I've done that with doing dishes. I don't use a dishwasher for that reason, because I find it very meditative to just sit and scrub and watch the soap bubbles and relax. Get a comfortable mat that you can stand on. For some of you, it might be baking or cooking. If so, please come to my house. You're welcome anytime. And for others, it might be reading. So whatever that practice is for you, that practice of mindfulness, of, finding your zen, finding your center, finding that place of silence. Maybe this is maybe you were looking for maybe you said, send me a sign, universe. This might be your sign. Maybe you want to do this along with me. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. Today's day 1. So let's do this together, and let's appreciate how far we've come already. And then at the end of this, we can reflect back on everything we've experienced in these 40 days. I'm so excited to be here, guys. And as challenging as it is on some days to put my face out there, this is me. No makeup, no filter. This is me. And I'm going to share these bits and pieces of myself with you. And I am excited for this journey. So I will see you on day 2, and I will look forward to whatever comes up today, whatever that might be. And I hope you're able to as well. Take care, guys. I'll see you tomorrow.